Hi, I'm Dave Larson, and today we'll be talking about 10 things to take your business online or revamp your online presence if you're already online but you're not quite satisfied with the results that you've been seeing. Number one, the first thing to do is do your research on online search trends, because you've got to think about the questions that you're going to answer with your online presence, and to think about the way that people search for them online, how people talk about it perhaps in your store that you already have or in the business that you're dreaming up. You've got to take your knowledge and look at it and compare it to the online search trends that tools like Google and Moz will give to you. Links for those will be in the description. But those tools will give you a good insight into what people are searching for and how your product or service is going to be able to meet those questions and those needs. Number two, select a domain with your keyword in mind. Now, say you already have a business name, such as 3 Strands or something like that. But that doesn't really get into the background of what your business actually does. And an important factor to being found online for people that search for your product or service is having 1 or 2 keywords in your URL. So think about that when you're trying to find a domain for your website. Number 3, once you've grabbed that URL, that domain, whatever it's going to be, grab all of the social media handles that are tied to that domain as best as you can. And I'm talking Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever it is, grab them all. In reality, it takes a couple minutes to do that. And that way you're both being offensive about when you're ready to promote on that social media platform, and defensive so that a competitor or somebody else doesn't grab that if you've already set up the rest of your online presence. Number 4, get an email address tied to your domain. It's often maybe a couple dollars a month, but that extra presence and that extra branding in your email interactions with perhaps your existing customers, if you're taking your business online, or your new customers and prospects, that extra branding is going to help, and people are going to know exactly where to go for your website when they're ready to look for your product or service, if you're selling online or if you're directing people into your storefront. Number 5. Now, this is best for existing businesses, but you can look at competitors perhaps if you're starting a new business, and look at what are the frequent questions, concerns, fears that your customers and or prospects have, and write those down. Those are going to be foundational towards creating content when you set up your website, but also going into the future. Think about blogging, podcasting, videos on YouTube, that sort of thing. You're going to want to answer those questions. And so to have them at the beginning of this process, before you go create your website and all that, all your other digital assets, have these questions, go back to them, dwell on them. Those are the things you're going to want to answer on your website. Number 6, now we're starting to put some of this foundation. This is why it's important to start here before you go and create your website. Because that way you already have the content. You already have the things that you want to say on your website. And where are they coming from? Your customers. Now that you have that, you've wrote that down, you've thought about it, it's time to go get your website created. Now, if you're technologically inclined, you might be able to try and do this yourself, but I would recommend at least talking to website design professionals to kind of get a feel for, maybe I do want to invest in their services so you can stay focused on your business, especially if it's existing. But even if you haven't started yet, you should be spending this time talking to other people. Perhaps if you're not financially inclined, talking to people in the finance industry that can kind of help you and guide you along setting up bookkeeping and things like that. Number 7, get your visual assets created. What I mean by that, you've already, as we talked about in step 5, you've already got kind of your written word, answering those customer and prospect questions. Number 7 is getting your visual assets created. Thinking all your photos and maybe one or a couple videos about your business and explaining what you do and the problems that you solve. Now, again, you could do this yourself, but for a small investment in the startup of your business or in the, taking your business online, it might be worthwhile to hire a professional who's gonna know how to position yourself well to reach your audience that you're trying to connect with now in the online world. Number 8, create an account on an online service such as MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, are 2 of the ones I typically recommend. Again, we'll have links for those in the description. But this is a place where you can store all your prospects and existing customers' contact information. And this is important, again, to keep yourself organized. It's an online world. Your customers are going in an online world are going to be comfortable dealing and connecting with you online. So organizing them online is a great thing to think about, even for those people that are more comfortable perhaps on pen and paper. You're trying to meet the customer's needs and where they spend time. So you've got to somewhat adapt, at least to be able to accommodate those customers and prospects' preferences, which is, in this case, in the online world. Number 9, and this is kind of building on number 8, automate any steps that you can. MailChimp, for example, has a built-in marketing, it's called marketing automation platform. And on there, you can automate certain processes. For example, you have your website. Someone fills out a form, says, yeah, I want more information. For a lot of small business owners, they might not have the time to reply right away, but MailChimp can automate that process for you. And I should mention, MailChimp's free, up to 2,000 contacts. So there's no cost, and you can automate some of those steps that often take you away from doing the things that have helped make your business successful in the offline world, or if you're starting a business, keeping you from those early business ventures in terms of how do I get the word out, word of mouth, things like that. So these tools that you should create in step 8, constant contact is another one of them. Step 9 will allow you to automate some of those tasks to help minimize the amount of time you spend on those things that, frankly, an automation system can do for you. Number 10, now it's time to launch. You're going to launch your website. If you're doing it yourself, then you're hitting the publish button, an exciting time. Or if you're working with somebody, you're coordinating with them on when's the right time to launch. Maybe it's before holiday season. Think about that. Think about the promotions that you may be able to tie. Perhaps it's coupons, perhaps it's advertising in the offline world if you're trying to bring people online. Think about those types of things. And then moving forward, again, going back to number 5, the list of the most frequent questions and pains that your customers and or prospects talk about, and create blog content around that. That's going to give you information to put out to social media, to put out through email marketing, but it's also going to keep your website current. And in the online world, being current is important for getting found online. SEO, search engine optimization. Again, that's simply someone typing something into Google and you being found. Uploading new content is going to be valuable to your customers. It's going to help you get found online, not only right now, but into the future. So this is our list of the top 10 things you need to do to grow your business online in a meaningful way. And if this list overwhelms you a little bit, there's a resource here. Stop by, give a call, visit us on our website, start the conversation on accomplishing this list. And again, growing your business online in an online world.